and Josh.
Albanese, on AUKUS, the Prime Minister has taken a swipe at Labor today about this issue of when Labor should have been briefed about the AUKUS deal. The reports that the Biden administration wanted it done months prior than it actually happened. He seems to be suggesting that had Labor been brought into the fold months earlier, it would have leaked, particularly from the Deputy Labor leader, Richard Marles. Can Labor be, or could Labor have been trusted to keep that under wraps, considering how closely held this information was, even within coalition ranks?
I have national security briefings all the time. What this Prime Minister always does is put his political interest first before the national interest. It's always about the politics. We were briefed on the Wednesday afternoon. The Prime Minister's office, as you will know, because you would have been one of them, went around that afternoon and briefed people in the gallery that I had been briefed on a significant announcement that would occur the next day. That didn't come from me. That came from the Prime Minister's office. The Prime Minister's office went around and said there was a briefing. What I did was convene a meeting of the Shadow Cabinet and the caucus, and we endorsed the position that I took to those bodies within hours of the announcement. Labor, and I say this in the state of the great John Curtin, Labor laid the foundations for the US alliance during the Second World War, when Australia turned to Labor in its darkest hour. We have been supporters of the US alliance ever since. And what I haven't done is ever release private text messages between people, let alone between leaders of other countries, which this Prime Minister quite clearly has done. We were briefed just beforehand. The US administration, the information is out there that they expected Labor to be briefed, because this is an issue that doesn't go for a year or a term of Parliament. They expected there to be briefing and expected there to be a condition would be bipartisan support. And I make this point, even though Labor could not have been more clear, more decisive or more certain about our support for AUKUS, this Prime Minister has continued to play politics and to suggest that that wasn't the case at each and every opportunity. The problem for this Prime Minister is that he's always looking for a conflict and a division. That's what he feeds off. He's never looking for agreement. It doesn't matter whether it's backing Clive Palmer against Mark McGowan. It doesn't matter whether it's on national security issues. It doesn't matter whether it's on other policy issues. It doesn't matter whether it's some of the responses to the pandemic. This bloke always looks for the fight, not for the solution. Australia can do better. Under my leadership, if we're successful on Saturday, I'll look to unite the country, whether it's big business and unions, whether it's small business and employees, whether it's the Commonwealth, states and local government working together for our common interest. That's what this country needs. Enough of this bloke, enough of the conflict fatigue that has set in. He can't change, he won't change. That's why people need to change the government.